A viewer took exception to my suggestion that someone in North America who was broke moved to South America. Well, you're right. No money, no ticket to fly. In fact, nowhere to go. Any visa requires some continuing income. I should have begun with, don't wait till it's too late to do something. I did say I was a bit uncomfortable giving advice. I can only relate to what I've done, what others have done. And this is always ahead of the crash, the personal end game, that being not only no income, but a huge debt as well. The big picture is the society you live in. Now, I'm thinking of the USA here. I comment on that society because there, it's the biggest reason individuals are boxed in by circumstance. Oh, they put themselves in the box, but society does make it worse. The solutions for the most desperate in the 30s, in the Great Depression, in the USA, were shanty towns and hobo villages, hopping the rail for another place and maybe a meager source of income. These are reappearing, the tent camps, but the law is coming for them. Boxing in the poor and powerless is an old story. Talking about predatory capitalism gets us nowhere. It's not going away anytime soon. Encouraging kindness and caring for others, the basic Christian message, a fool's errand, noble and good, but also tilting at windmills. So what does the individual do if they waited too long? They suffer, generally. There was a time when life was expected to be a long trail of suffering, ending in relief only by death. Life didn't disappoint. It was like that. In our time, there's been the luxury of plenty of comforts once reserved for the top 5% of the population, the rich, the nobility, but it was gained by selling your time, your youth and labor. That gone, unless you put something away for old age, for the fickle finger of fate's intervention, you are SOL. Sorry, but reality is a tough nut. Part of the expectation we have now is a magic solution. If we could only find the right YouTube channel, the one with the secret path out of our bind. Plenty of offers in those thumbnails and clickbait titles, but very few offer time travel. A ticket to our youth. It wouldn't help. You'd have a 20-year-old body, but a 20-year-old mind too, and you'd relive the moment. The new now. You'd be no more responsible than you were the first time you were 20. So I have to consider what I would do if I was in that bind now. I'm 80 very soon. I might have mentioned that a couple or three times. But say I was 70, being 80 and broke and with no income, not even Social Security, you're on the dole. The state and the county and the feds might help you enough to keep your life going, but it's hard to imagine. But doing it by your own wits, by the money you've saved, that sort of thing, it's difficult for me to put myself in the position of someone who did no planning. And also, as I think about it here, I'm very risk averse and always have been. The idea of taking out a mortgage they're all beyond what the person can afford, the banks, they need the business, so they will loan you money even when you don't actually fit the criteria for being able to pay it back. I don't know, to say they're predatory is to be kind. Avaricious, they're not doing it for you, they're doing it for the income. And they need more and more because there seems to be some kind of a squirrel cage effect with capitalism in the U.S. where it just goes faster and faster and faster and sucks money out of every possible point in a long and convoluted mechanism, from the raw material to the final product. There's money. It's like a pipeline that is leaking in 1,000 places. No wonder none gets to the end. And people are not nice. They're not kind. They're out for themselves. And I used to believe that that was not only the natural way, but probably the most efficient way. But there's something perverse in an overlying mechanism that takes value and wealth from everything and leaves nothing for the individual. It shouldn't be so hard to live on very little money in the States, but the system does not want such an escape route to exist. And it makes it pretty darned expensive, whatever you do, whatever plan you have. Then you need to pay the system a chunk of money. This thing I keep coming back to, the living in your vehicle or living in your van. Is it the business of government, of society through their government, to tell you how to live? Well, of course it is. In the land of the free, they tell you how you live. They tell you how far back from the road your house has to be. They tell you that you need to have a house with a minimum of what, 600 square foot? Or is it 1,000 now? That has to do with taxes. It doesn't have anything to do with the way you want to live. Tiny houses, oh, they're horrible, they're nasty, they'll attract the wrong kind of people, which is to say people without a lot of money. How about people that don't want a lot of money? How about people that want enough money? They're really a drag on the system. They're anti-capitalist in their fundamental nature. They don't want to spend money? Well, to hell with them then. I'm not going to give them an easy way to live. I'm going to make life difficult for them. And it doesn't matter that it's sort of like the robots. The robots are going to do all the work. Well, who's going to buy the product that the robots are making when the old workers don't have any jobs to make money with? Society just keeps on going on the course it's started on. Suck money out of people that don't have any money. Well, that doesn't make a huge amount of sense. These people end up on the street. They end up in the tent camps. Every time I see one of those drive around the streets in Los Angeles things with endless mile after mile of tents of people living in cardboard and under tarps and things, I think, well, this must be Soviet propaganda from the Cold War. They must have, these must be the opposite of Potemkin villages. Potemkin villages were facades. They were fake villages erected so that the Tsarina could see something pretty as she went to the summer place in Yalta or in Crimea. Well, we've got the opposite now. These tent villages must have been created by Soviet propagandists to show how terrible things were in capitalist society. Well, they've only become more terrible lately. What is the system doing? It's grinding itself down to nothing. But it wasn't like that, say, in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. The time in the 90s when a lot of us had nice jobs, unlimited overtime, and gracias a Dios, I put that money into the SSA, or they actually took it from me. I was also thinking, how do I arrive, was it my foresight and my good planning, etc., that let me have a good income, marginal in the States, but quite good down here in South America? What allowed me to do that? My brilliant planning? No. I was divorced, and my daughter needed child support. And I guess it's my basic nature. I would have been bumming around the Southwest, some kind of a hippie, unless I took the responsibility seriously of paying whatever it was for child support. No alimony, but child support. And then helping my daughter through college. And I did that. Fortunately, I had the skill, electronics, so I could find jobs with the unlimited overtime, and I took them. And Social Security took a chunk out of that, and now I'm getting it back. So it was me personally that did it by deciding that I was going to fulfill my obligation, a moral obligation and legal also, but moral first, to help my daughter out and to pay for her support. I would like to think that I would have been responsible enough, but I wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been. I would have been out on the road, maybe in a van. Maybe that's why I'm nostalgic about van life, even though I don't have to do it. In practical terms, it's a whole lot better to live in a nice apartment here in a nice, comfortable, friendly village and learn new Spanish words every day and hang out with the self-lubricating, self-medicating, and talk about the good old days and complain about the government, all the governments. Anyway, that's what we do down here. And if you have no money and you're 70 and you have no prospects, my heart goes out to you, sir and ma'am, but I can't think of a solution for you. Except in a parallel universe where people actually demonstrate their caring for others. I don't think they even give it lip service anymore. My diatribes are running longer and longer all the time, so if you've made it this far, you are very persistent and tough. They're made of sterner stuff. You have a good day and a good week. Some of you got to go to work tomorrow. Ciao.